From a faraway planet comes the call of having the power. And now we have a very interesting situation with two miniature-based games based on He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. One was exclusive to Europe. One was exclusive to the rest of the world by Cmon. What I wanted to do was try to take a look at both of these and see who did the better sculpts and who did the better miniatures. This is going to be a little hard because I'm doing this off of screen captures and from prototypes, but I think we're going to get a good idea of the difference of the two games and which one really has the better miniatures, because that's the thing I'm focusing on. So sit back, relax, and this will be a bit of a long one, but I think we can enjoy it. Last category I kind of struggled with because this is really the stretch goals, and that's just I just kind of put them in there. And again, I'm going over stretch goals that actually were reached on both parties. And while the character selection is pretty similar, there are differences. My understanding is there were some licensing issues. I don't know what they might be, and I'm just going to roll with what we got, rather than whine about, what we didn't get. So let's begin with Whiplash. This is a character I really liked as a kid, and a character I really liked when they redid He-Man. I like this sculpt. It's, he's swinging that tail, getting ready to hit somebody, holding his spear. I really dig this pose for him. It's perfect for Whiplash, I think. The Archon Studios one, I don't understand. Yes, he had a spear. I never saw him throw it. That might have happened in an episode I missed or something, or maybe I've forgotten it. It's not a bad sculpt. I just don't understand the idea of throwing the spear instead of whipping the tail. Whiplash whips his tail. That's what he does. It's just kind of weird that they left that out of that character. I don't understand. Definitely got to give that one to Cmon. That was a really good one. Next is Manny Faces. It would have been nice to have a Manny Faces that either you could switch the heads or you had one each with each head. That did not happen, of course. We only got the one. Good rendition. He's a good sculpt. He's perfectly fits Manny Faces himself. I like him. I do like him a lot. Go over here to the Archon Studios one, and he's equally as good. He's it's a tough posed. It's not a, I don't want to say static pose, but it's a a staunch pose, I should say. Again, they didn't offer that either, so I'm not sure why. Maybe it was just cost prohibitive, I don't know. But good figures in both rights, so I will say good job on both of those. I'd say an even tie on that one. Then we go to Clamp Champ, who is a guy I had forgotten about from all the years ago. I was kind of out of Masters of the Universe when he came out, and I do remember him, but I had forgotten about him until he showed up in this in both the Kickstarter and the Game Found. I was like, oh yeah, that guy. Again, like the pose with here with Cmon. It's a good pose. I like the clamp ready to go, and yeah, definitely really like that one. Then we have Clamp Champ for Archon Studios, and I'm a little confused because And maybe this is just a bad picture, because the picture here in the card shows him with a clamp, but it looks like a sword in his hand here. Now again, that might be just not a good showing it very well, and it might not be in the best position. He does have what looks like a clamp in his other hand as well. If it ends up being a clamp, I'd say it's a pretty decent figure. Again, he's got one of those running poses though, which throws me off. Again, not always, but in this case, it does, because he looks like he's balanced on a bunch of rocks and probably not going to be able to run very fast. Gonna give to Cmon here because that pose was really good. I liked it. And then Buzz Off. To my surprise, Cmon didn't try to do another flying or taking off or landing version, but he's got his wings out, which is cool. Always liked Buzz Off. I thought he was a weird and interesting character. The sculpt's really good. That the head sculpt's really awesome. Looks great. I like it. It's a real good rendition of Buzz Off. Now with Archon Studios, they did kind of go for almost landing pose, and I do like that as well. That axe is similar to Buzz Off's axe with his figure, but it's a little different. But I'll go an even tie here. I mean, those are two really good renditions. They're different, but they're really good. And of course, Mechaneck had to be a stretch goal. And he's got his neck extended. Looks really good. Pointing out something to somebody that he can see that nobody else can see. Really like this sculpt. It's a really awesome sculpt. I love the extended neck. Yeah, definitely one of those that really captures the iconic nature of the character. With the Archon Studios one, again, I don't understand what's going on here. He looks like he's getting ready to try to bat against Sammy Sosa. I'm joking. Yeah, he looks like he's getting ready to play a baseball game. And I don't understand that. I know he has a club, and yeah, that would be a natural thing to do with a club, but it's Mechaneck. He should have his neck mechanized up, but he doesn't. Yeah, it's very disappointing. Big win for Cmon there. They're miles ahead on that one. I gotta give that one up to them. And then we have Scareglow, who he was always one of those characters I was confused about, because I initially thought he was Skeletor. Again, he came about when I was kind of out of Masters of the Universe, but I thought he was cool. I thought he looked really cool, and then I found out he's a different character entirely, and then I never really got what he was. I do like this. I do like this pose. I like this sculpt. Again, it looks really good. It's going to be fun to paint if I can find a paint that's fluorescent enough to emulate the glow he had as a character. Then we go to Archon Studios version, and I don't know, the facial expression and the chain make me think of Ghost Rider. I don't know if that's purposeful or not, because gosh, that chain looks like Ghost Rider's. And of course he still has the axe, which is pretty good. I think they were going for a more action pose, and I think the chain kind of throws it off. Again, it's a big Ghost Rider. It invokes Ghost Rider rather than Scareglow. I think they slightly dropped the ball there. That one I'm definitely giving to Cmon. I really love the Cmon version. Then we move on to Faker. Faker was another one of those that was really weird, but I really liked. His blue He-Man with orange sword and armor. Because of course, why not? But somehow he's one of those characters I just really like. Now, I really like this sculpt. I like that stance. He looks like he's ready for a fight. But yeah, I really like that. Love this one by Cmon. Now this one by Archon Studios looks like he's trying to be in a similar vein, but he's of course running, so it doesn't quite work as well. Again, running minis have to look a certain way to me, and this doesn't quite. And at first I thought he was walking, but no, he's definitely running, and he's got that back foot up, so he's definitely running. And but he doesn't look like he's really running. It doesn't look real. And I think that's my big problem with a lot of these from Archon Studios. They're running, but they don't look real. They don't look like they could be really running. Again, going with Cmon on that one. A great sculpt, a great figure. Archon was close, but they didn't quite hit it. Now up next is Fisto. Again, Fisto. What do you do with the guy? I mean, he's got a big metal fist. That's who he is. He's big, tough, got a big metal fist. Again, looks like he's ready for action. Looks like he's getting ready to do some action. Great sculpt. Then we go over here to Archon Studios, and this is better than some of the other ones they've done. Again, there's that running pose. This time he's like down on the ground, he's getting ready to punch something. That's a pretty good pose for Fisto. That's grabbing a hold of that iconic idea and running with it. I gotta say, good job to him. I still like the Cmon one a slight bit better, but this is a pretty good effort on Archon Studios' part as well. So then we move on to Hero. Hero is not one of my favorites by far. I don't hate him, but I don't love him either. He's just kind of there to me, and but this is a good sculpt. I like it. It's decent. I like the pose. I like the way he looks. It's going to be fun to paint this guy. It really is. And the sculpt we have with Archon Studios is pretty similar. There's not enough difference, of course. He's holding his staff up, and he's holding the sword on his own in a different pose. I would say equal on these two. Either one would work really well as Hero. So I gotta give that one a tie. That was a pretty good one. And to wrap it up, we've got King Grayskull. A character I kind of always chuckled about because, I always thought he, to be blunt, I always thought he was just sort of trying to be He-Man, even though, in the story he came before He-Man. But I was just like, they just put He-Man on another body. I mean, that's all they did. Somebody has told me that when He-Man calls down the power of Grayskull, that he's really turning himself into King Grayskull, and I can buy that. But at the same time, I kind of would be okay without that happening. I mean, it's not a big deal. So, and this is another one case of Archon Studios and Cmon really nailed it with this character. I find both sculpts really good. I like them. I understand why people would want either, and either one is a good representation of the character. So on that, I'm going to say tie. Now, do I have any overall impressions? Well, yeah. So I mean, I'm going to just throw my opinion out here. Overall, I do think Cmon did some better sculpts. I think they had some better iconic poses and ideas with the characters versus Archon Studios, who, they had good ideas, but some of them fell flat, and some of them I just didn't understand. I felt Cmon had a better understanding of the characters. Maybe they were bigger fans of He-Man and the Master of the Universe like I was. I'm not sure. The one with Mechanic is is one of the big ones. I felt like that was done by somebody who had no idea who Mechanic was and just saw a guy with a big club. That could have, and maybe that did happen. I don't know. I'm speculating, obviously, but I did back the American version with Cmon. I think I would prefer the American version with Cmon. I just think the sculpts are better. They're going to be fun to paint. There's fun characters there. I didn't do a count, but I think there are a lot more minis with the Cmon one, although I think it's also a little more expensive. So there is that to weigh in as well. The other thing is I tried not to compare what we did not have, but it deserves to be pointed out, is that we do get He-Man with the He-Man Cmon backing. We do get Royal Guards with the He-Man game. In this game, we do not. We get little statues in the Archon European game. We do not. We get little statues that are supposed to represent them. It's like little busts, and that was a disappointing thing too. I didn't compare those two because those are not comparable. They're not the same thing. They're not the same characters, or stand-ins, or cannon fodder, or whatever you want to call it. You can't compare those two because a bust and a figure are two different representations, and if I'm comparing figures, I'm going to go with the figures, of course. So I didn't even touch on that. Again, neither game is really bad, and they have their strengths, but I do feel like there was more going on with the Cmon game, and if you want to go look at it on Kickstarter, you might see why, because I didn't include a whole lot of things here. One big omission I had was, I know there's both games have mounted He-Man on Battlecat and Skeletor on Panther that I left out. This was a hard video to put together and hard to get all these screenshots, and then I saw those armored ones after that, and I was like, well, I've already started this video. I don't want to go back and redo that. So, hope you enjoyed this. I know this was a bit of a long walk, but, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Infinite Realms.